3rd, 2025 meeting of the Harwich Conservation Commission being held in the Don B. Griffin Room, excuse me, at Harwich Town Hall. Participation is possible in person in the room or online through GoToMeeting. Instructions for logging on to GoToMeeting are available on the agenda published on the Town of Harwich website. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The first item on the agenda tonight is a request for determination of applicability for 11 Nons Road, map 6, parcel C1-10, for the construction of additions on an existing single-family dwelling, removal of existing hardscape, removal of existing lawn and invasive plantings to be restored with native plants as mitigation for the proposed additions. Good evening.
Good evening. Stephanie Sequin with Ryder & Wilcox, and I am representing Steve and Laura McCabe for the owners of 11 Nons Road, and Caitlin Camelier from Blue Flax Design is with us here remotely. And is Mr. McCabe here? Okay, Mr. McCabe is here, just in time. So this is an application to allow additions and renovations to an existing single-family dwelling. It's at 11 Nons Road. It's a 28,000 square foot lot. It abuts Allen's Creek. There's an existing bulkhead at the southerly edge of the property adjacent to Allen's Creek. The riverfront, which is 200 feet from mean high water, is basically at the existing bulkhead and extends 200 feet landward onto the property. We also have land subject to coastal storm flowage. It's a velocity zone, elevation 13. We've got the boundary of the velocity zone on the plan. The topography at the flood zone boundary is between 4:1 and 10:1. So per DEP policy, the flood zone boundary is the top of the coastal bank, and we are showing the 50 and 100-foot buffers from the top of the coastal bank. There's an existing two-story dwelling with attached garage, an in-ground swimming pool, a paved driveway, and fairly extensive hardscaping that consists of stone patios, retaining walls, steps, and walkways. What's being, in that all extends well within the inner riparian zone and within the 50-foot buffer to the top of the coastal bank. What's being proposed are renovations to the existing house, which will include 2 additions, one on the southwest corner, where I've got that hatched with dots. There's an existing bow window that is going to be removed, and the proposed screen porch with roof deck constructed in that same general area. There is existing stone patio within the footprint of the proposed addition. And then the other addition is a 2-story addition within what looks like an existing courtyard on the northeast, sort of in the center of the building. That open area will essentially be filled in with a 2-story addition. And again, there is currently some stone walkway hardscaping within that area of the proposed addition. What they're also, sort of on a side note, proposing to remove the existing stockade fence that is the security fencing around the swimming pool, and replacing that with iron rail fence in the same location. So we provided existing and proposed buffer coverage calculations on the site plan. Within the 0 to 100-foot riverfront area between the proposed addition and the removal of existing hardscaping. Within the 100-foot riverfront area, we have an increase of 3 square feet of coverage. And then within the outer riverfront area, we have an increase of 211 square feet. So using your 2-to-1 mitigation requirements for expansion within the outer riverfront area and your 3-to-1 mitigation requirements for expansion within the inner riparian zone, you're looking at roughly 430 square feet of mitigation that is required for this proposed work. Blue Flax has provided a mitigation planting plan that shows approximately 1,672 square feet of existing lawn and invasive vegetation down adjacent to the bulkhead area that they're proposing to replace with native plantings, remove the existing lawn, remove the invasive plants, and restore the area. And they've provided a mitigation plan for that. So just as, before I turn it over to Caitlin, I did provide construction notes on the site plan, a construction protocol in the narrative. We're showing a fabric silt fence that will be installed prior to work construction and will serve as the limit of work for the construction. The access will be from the existing driveway. A dumpster will be placed in the driveway to contain all construction debris. The site will be cleaned on a daily basis. A mini excavator or similar sized piece of equipment will be used to excavate. We just have to excavate for the footings for the proposed screen porch. Excavated material will be placed directly into trucks for removal. There will be no stockpiling of material on site. And upon completion of construction, the disturbed areas will be restored and reseeded with a native grass mix. Gutters and downspouts to dry wells will be used to contain the roof runoff from the proposed additions. So that's it as far as the construction portion of the project, and I can turn it over to Caitlin and she can describe the proposed mitigation plan.
Thanks, Stephanie. Good evening, everyone. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes. Great. Caitlin Camilleri with Blue Flax Design. As Stephanie explained, we are proposing over 1,600 square feet of mitigation within the riverfront and coastal bank resource areas. About 1,259 square feet is invasive species removal, and then an additional 413 square feet of lawn adjacent to the invasive species removal is proposed. The invasive species that we noticed on site include bittersweet, shrub honeysuckle, black swallowwort, and autumn olive. And once these invasive species are removed, we'll seed the area with a native grass and wildflower mix, and we'll replant the areas with 107 native shrubs that are tolerant of the wind-prone waterfront location of this site. And our mitigation plan will restore the ecological integrity of this area and will offer higher value to wildlife and pollinators as well. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have about our mitigation plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Amy?
Not too many questions. As Stephanie said, there's about 214 square feet of new coverage in jurisdictional area. As mitigation, they're proposing about 400 square feet of lawn removal and 1,200 plus square feet of invasive removal and replanting with a species appropriate for that location. the work is outside of the 0 to 50-foot buffer and the 60-foot no new structure area. It's all in the area of the existing house and hardscape. So I don't see how this is gonna have an adverse impact to the coastal bank itself. And removal of the invasives and adding a variety of natives, as you've shown, will help with kind of the ecological diversity on the site. And I would recommend approval with a -2 and 3 determination.
Thank you. Vivian?
No questions?
No questions.
Just a comment that the number 1 construction note is no herbicides on the lot, and it sounds like that will be a tool used for the invasive removal, is that right?
Are you planning herbicide, Caitlin? That's just our standard sort of construction notes and maybe not so much for the mitigation
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right.
project.
Yeah, no other questions.
This looks great. There's one thing I don't understand about the site plan, which is you you specify on both plans a line that says 100-year flood zone, elevation 13, and the top of coastal bank, but that line does not coincide with contours that are on the plan. So what am I missing?
It's a velocity zone, not an A zone. And an A zone, yes, you're right, and that's what they call still water flooding. So just everything's calm, but the floodwaters are expected to rise to a certain level, and that's when we trace a contour. The velocity zone is where you get, and I had a really hard time getting my head around this years and years ago. The velocity zone is where you get like wind-driven waves, and the general level of the water body is here, but the waves are up higher. So in this case, the wave action is predicted, expected, or whatever, to get as high as that 13-foot level. So even though the ground below is at elevation, 10 or 12, or I guess it's 8 or 10, you could get wave action that is above it. And I just, like I said, I had a very hard time getting my head around when they create or whatever, started this velocity zone thing. But when you envision like the shoreline at the beach, and you've got the waves that come in, and then they crash, and that's it, they end. Because I was like, how can it go from a velocity zone elevation 14 right next to an A zone elevation 11? Well, that's what happens when waves come rolling in, they crash and then just end. Very good
Thank you.
question.
It's not elevation-based, it's just a set point that FEMA sets.
Right, and that's the elevation.
Sure.
If you were going to build, you would have to get the structure above that elevation, that velocity
Crest, that
elevation.
crest height.
Right.
So just to pursue this a step further, so even though that's what I would call an arbitrary line, because someone at FEMA decided that's where the line is, that is also by definition the top of the coastal bank?
For a velocity zone.
For this, right.
For this property, yes, coastal banks are not, velocity zones are not always coastal banks and vice versa.
Okay.
Depends on the rest of the topography and grade on the site.
Thank you. I don't have any other questions, except to point out that we're getting an error message on the go-to-meeting thing here. Is that something that needs to be fixed, Matt?
No, we're good.
Okay. All right. Any questions from anybody in the room or online? Other further comments? If not, we could have a motion.
I'll move that we approve the determination of applicability for 11 Nons Road, map 6, parcel C1-10.
I'll second it.
With,
A negative 2 and 3 determination.
okay, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 4 and 0.
Okay,
Thank you. Next, we have a notice of intent for 11 Nons Road, map 6, parcel C1-10, SE 32-2598, for the reconstruction of an existing dock. This has been continued from our August 6, 2025 meeting.
Thanks for having us back. I am Bob Perry. Steve McCabe is here, as you know. Cape Cod Engineering has been working with the McCabes on their dock revision. As you know, the L-shaped pile-supported pier was desired to be turned into a seasonal float with a shorter pier stem, and we met with you, and we discussed that first option. So after discussing that, Steve McCabe worked with me to come up with a second rendition, and he has taken that to the Waterways Committee, and it's my understanding that they thought highly of it, as they did with the first. And so what we have is a shorter pier. We have a bench framed off to the side on the left as you go out the pier. So the pier itself is 15 feet wide, long, stemming off the seawall. And it's at that end that we have a 6-foot length that would have a 4-foot a bench on it with a little alcove so you can step off the pier and sit on the bench. The floats are 16 and a half feet together, giving us 33 feet in length. There's 4 anchor piles, I should say 5. We have a 3-foot ramp, 16 foot long for this water body, is just right with the pier elevation. And if I didn't say it, the float is now 7 feet wide for, I think, 231 square feet of float. There's quite a lot of structure being taken off. Just recently, I had a note from Amy about could pilings be reduced on the bench area? And yes, you can, although it's nice and stout the way it is. The area of a 10-inch piling is about 3/4 of a square foot. And so it's fairly minor. The structure itself is being reduced from 14 pilings to 10. If there was 4 piles for the floats, you could reduce that further. But we liked the plan that we just submitted. And I don't see a lot of difference with the 6 piles versus 4 piles. There is a current there. There's occasionally we have some ice flows, and I think it's just a more stout end of the pier. It's also going to be holding on to the ramp. That ramp is going to be typically with rollers on the float. Some people do put them in sliding hinges, but it's not bad to have a stout pier end. So we'd like it with the 6 piles, if you can see to it, to approve that, it'd be great. But otherwise, I'd be happy to answer questions that you have. Thank you.
Thank you. Amy?
I don't have too many questions. I'm recommending approval of this proposal. If you recall, when they came to you last time, the proposed structure was a little bit more than what you're seeing here in front of you. They are going from a licensed permanent fixed pier to a fixed pier with a seasonal ramp and float. And the takeaways from that meeting were come more in line with our regulations in terms of width of pier, try to get closer to, in float size, to the size of basically the T end at the end of the pier. And I think they've done that. They are requesting a 6 by 4 foot bench, but as they are, the rest of the structure, basically seaward of all that, is going to be seasonal. And they're proposing to do shellfish mitigation, which they don't currently have to do for their licensed pier. I think all things put together, that this is an improvement over existing conditions. And they are going to go from 14 permanent pilings down to 10. And I understand the logic behind the additional pilings, kind of to support that bench, being kind of on the seaward edge of that in a current. Waterways did approve it, and with the shellfish mitigation on top of it, I would recommend approval of the project.
Thank you. Mark?
I have no questions. Makes sense to me.
Sophia?
I also have no questions.
No? Thanks for the work.
Great. Glad you like it.
I have no comments. Do we have questions or comments in the room or online? Doesn't look that way. Can we have a motion?
All right, I'll make a motion to approve notice of intent for 11 Nons Road, map 6, parcel C1-10, SE 32-2598.
Second?
Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you very much for your time.
Thank
Good. You.
Good night.
Next, we have a notion of intent for 8 Cranberry Way, map 16, parcel W4-9, SE 32-2609 for building addition and septic. This has been continued from July 16th, and the applicant has requested a continuance to our September 17th, 2025 meeting so that they can get to the Board of Health. Can we have a motion to continue?
I'll move to continue.
I'll second it.
To September 17th, 2025. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's 4-0. Okay, next we have a notice of intent for 10 Harwich Pines, map 103, parcel S1A-11, SE 32-2612 for dock reconstruction. This has been continued from August 6th, 2025. Good evening.
Good evening. John O'Reilly for the Lessex. We were here at the beginning of August, received pretty good positive feedback. We did meet. We were waiting on the Waterways Committee to review and approve, which they did on the 20th, I believe, of August. So we're here tonight to hopefully close the hearing and receive approval or conditions. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Amy?
No, we continued last time, so you go to Waterways. They did. They received Waterways unanimous approval for that. The proposed structure, I mean, the dock's been in for a while. The new owners want to properly permit and license things. And the dock meets all of your standards for freshwater docks. I would recommend approval.
Thank you.
No questions?
Mark?
No questions.
Sophia? No questions? Any questions or comments in the room? Online? I hear none. We have a motion.
I'll move that we approve the notice of intent for 10 Harwich Pines, map 103, parcel S1A-11, SE 32-2612.
I'll second it.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 4-0.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, John.
Thank you.
Next, we have a notice of intent for 2071 Route 28, Head of the Bay Road, map 109, parcel R1-B, SE 32-2614, for the replacement of an existing timber bulkhead cap and adding fill, rip wrap replacement near existing boat ramp, timber stairs replacement, invasive species management, replanting, and vista pruning. This has been also continued from our August 6, 2025 meeting.
Hello, I am Jennifer Leighton Gracia from Ty and Bond, representing the homeowner, Andrea Roman. She's in the room with us. After the last hearing, Andrea and I met with Amy on site to look at specific trees and areas of vista pruning where we thought it would be most appropriate and make the most sense for the project. There were several trees that we identified during that visit that were compromised either by ivy or having exposed roots or other things of that sort that hadn't been picked up during the initial site visit. And we recommend, excuse me, flush cutting a few of those trees. And then we really concentrated the areas of vista pruning to around that, where the stairs are that go down to the dock. Mostly that's limbing of trees. And I forget what was there that needed to be removed. Oh, there was the cedar and cherry in that area that were on the edge of the bank. And then the other changes were we took your recommendations and changed out most of the, or several of the plant species that will be planted as the mitigation. And we intend to meet with an arborist, the homeowner and Amy prior to any tree work at all that will be done on property to make sure that it's all done properly in accordance with the plans and obviously for the health of the trees. We did remove the extension of the revetment that we had initially proposed, and we'll be doing more plantings in that area to help stabilize it. I think that's most of what we have on the plans there.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Amy?
I appreciated meeting with you and the homeowner out on the site. This is a project with a lot of little things going on pretty much everywhere. So I think if approved, that pre-construction meeting with the contractors is gonna be key for this one to make sure everyone's on the same page. I appreciate the removal of the additional rock that you were going to do. It just really, at this time, don't think it's needed. It's not a whole lot of erosion going on there. And if filled a little bit and planted correctly, I think it will be good for years to come. I'm still a little hesitant about the plants that are proposed behind the bulkhead. I'm not sure how American beach grass is gonna do back there without wind-blown sand deposits. And I'd be interested in seeing what other commissioners thought that could also be a possibility of adding to the mix there. Then we looked at the other main concern of the commission was the view corridors there. They have an established view area that they've pruned for years by the staircase down the bank. The staircase is gonna be replaced in kind. There was no comments about that. But there were areas to the sides of that that were desired to be included. And I think now it is a little bit clearer that not all the understory trees and shrubs are gonna be pruned. It is more defined areas. And the majority of the area of the beach plum that was highlighted at the meeting is going to be preserved. There is a cedar tree that is kind of just right on the crest, or right over the edge of the top of the coastal bank. If you look at the base all around that tree, there's nothing else growing. So removing that tree to plant lower to mid species while leaving the root system intact to degrade will provide them with that view without compromising that kind of thicket of beach plums. And there were a couple other trees that, upon closer inspection, were in poorer health. Yeah, and I think as shown now, it's hard to kind of explain exactly here in front of you, but it's a little bit more thoughtful of an approach to exactly what's going to be done out there rather than a whole area. So I guess I would be recommending approval. I would just encourage you to have a couple other species in your back pocket for planting behind that wall, more some of upper marsh species.
Okay.
I'm interested in hearing what you all think.
Let's start with Sophia.
I appreciate the thoughtful approach. I think that sounds like a good, I can't think of the word right now. Doesn't matter. I guess I'm wondering, with the pitch pines that, like, we looked at when we went to the site visit, there was the one that had a lot of vines and the other two didn't seem to have any beetle issues, and at that time we were thinking, are those staying, or are those?
The one that was really choked out by ivy is
Okay,
gonna be
awesome.
flush cut, yeah, that's the proposal now.
Okay, great. Okay.
And then there's a couple, so other pitch pines, there's ones that are literally this tall that are right on the top of the coastal bank
Gotcha, yeah.
that are just gonna get big and spindly and wobbly, so those would be included in the pruning.
Okay, all right. Yeah, and I guess just to weigh in on Amy's comments behind the wall, I wonder if, I'm having like such a brain blank moment here. What,
Marsh elder,
the salt marsh cordgrass,
oh, okay,
like Spartina, or,
Spartina, yeah.
and then there's another one that might, like Juncus gerardii might be a good one. Is that the right one?
Juncus is what?
Rush? Is
Huh?
it? I don't know, sorry, it's been a really long day.
I am having the same problems
Good,
today.
that makes me feel better.
But, so Iva, fructescens, were you thinking? No,
No, and they have that on there. I guess
Okay.
I was thinking more of the little grasses, if what you're saying is that without the sand nourishment, the beach grass might not be happy long-term, which I think is a good point. I wonder if those, like, when you look at it now, it's such kind of like a thick mat of whatever is surviving back there, that may be something a little bit more marshy.
yeah, so upper marsh, and I can't remember if it's Spartina patens or Spartina alterniflora. That's the upper marsh species, because the lower marsh species isn't gonna do that, but whatever
Right.
the upper marsh species is of there, I would encourage plugs of those. Yeah, in there.
Okay.
There. We can put that in the conditions.
Okay, that's reasonable.
No questions otherwise. Thank you.
I have no questions.
No, I defer to Sophia's expertise on this. I mean,
So, didn't it appear there, behind the bulkhead there, that the land had been subsiding some? Isn't that like,
Likely, it's likely some peat back in behind there that's subsiding over time. That's why they're asking to fill behind it, because it's
Oh, so there is
exposing,
fill,
so they're gonna
okay.
fill.
all right,
So if it was gonna stay at the elevation that it was at, I would encourage the regular lower marsh species, but because you're gonna go up 1.5 feet or so,
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna be too dry for lower marsh species. So you have a like this pocket kind of fresh but brackish wetland behind there.
And it really is just that, very really small section right behind the wall where we're proposing the fill.
Yeah,
So-
they're not filling to the wetland, it's just gonna be right behind the wall and taper down.
so we should require that you review whatever the final planting plan is
That's fine.
prior to,
That can be part of our
Execution.
on-site. But I'll put in the conditions too, that we're not gonna be recommending the American beach grass, and we'll give them other recommendations for plugs. Pretty much at the same density that you would do American beach grass anyways.
Okay.
Anything else? Any comments in the room or online? Don't hear anything, so once again, we can have a motion.
I'll move for approval of the NOI, 2071 Route 28, head of the Bay Road. Map 109, parcel R1-B, SE number SE 322614.
I would just add that final planting plan requires review by Amy before execution.
That will be a condition.
Anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
Next, we have a notice of intent for 297 Route 28, map 12, parcel S6, for removal of an existing house, garage, and parking, installation of a new Title V septic system, and construction of a new house above a flood zone compliant garage, with the deck, parking, and utilities.
Good evening, Dan Croto from Moran Engineering. Here with Joe Nolan, the prospective buyer of the house, the residential part of the property. The property itself is in the process of being condoed, so the food service building and the house will be under. Buildings themselves will be different ownership. The property itself, as a condo, stays in common ownership. So the proposal is to remove the existing house and garage, put up a new house on, garage on the first floor. It's on Route 28. It's next to the Bagel Hound. That's the other building on the property. It's at the very outer edge of the floodplain, so the west side of it is not in the floodplain, but the where the building is proposed, where the existing building is and where the building proposed is in the upper limits of the floodplain. So that's so there's no other wetland resources except for floodplain that we're here for, but it is a full building, tear down, rebuild. Existing building is quite an old building and not in good repair, and the applicant, Joe, went to the historic and they reviewed it and are allowing the removal of that building without a delay because of the poor condition of it. So that building itself, of course, doesn't meet floodplain requirements. That building itself has a fairly new septic system, but it has variances. So there's a couple of improvements, and new building will meet the floodplain requirements, of course, of FEMA and the building code, which is more strict than FEMA in Massachusetts. And then the existing septic system's a 5-bedroom. The proposal is for a 4-bedroom. The existing septic system has variances. The new system will meet the full Title V and town code. And so we took the proposal also to the department's meeting, and that meeting, the town planner and Amy also we're talking drainage, so drainage and landscaping, so we did a supplemental plan showing the drainage, so I did the full drainage design and put on basic landscaping of what Joe's hoping to do there, so pretty simple and just in the upper edge of the floodplain is what brings us before the commission. So with that, we're both here for questions.
Thank you. Amy?
Not too much. I think a lot of people are gonna be happy that the beech tree is gonna be staying. That's what I've gotten some comments on, and upon seeing it, I agree. It's great to keep it. It's quite a tree. My biggest question you've answered, which is the drainage of the roof and the parking area, especially as your proposed parking area is to be paved. So it's not gonna have its own in drainage. So you've proposed, pretty good-sized stone leach trenches, and a, vegetated swale as well in the low point of the lot, before it heads on to the other portion of the lot. And the house, the house is, I'm not a building commissioner, but, it's not in very good shape. So, I have no issues with this. It's very minimal, fill that's needed to get this to flood elevation. It's an AE 11 here. They have to bring in about a foot and a half of fill on the east side of the building to get to that. It's not drastic. It's gonna blend into the grade. Living space would be above the garage. So it's going from a 4-bedroom house, or a 5-bedroom house to a 4-bedroom house. I would recommend approval for a new construction in the flood zone.
Okay, thank you. Vivian?
Questions?
Mark?
I have no questions, pretty straightforward.
No questions, but if I may offer a suggestion, if you are interested in preserving the beech tree, I would add a little construction fence during construction activities to protect the root zone. There's a bad beech disease going around right now, so they can
Yes.
use all the help they can get if it's special to the property, but otherwise looks good.
So I just have one question. I noted what looked to me like a wastewater cleanout coming out of the ground, kind of between the beech tree and the bagel hound. I'm just it's not, no reference to anything like that is shown on the plan. I'm wondering what that is.
Good question. It's
Like-
between the beech tree and the restaurant?
Roughly, it's like 4-inch white PVC with a cap sticking out of the ground, like a wastewater cleanout.
Oh, but if it's PVC, it's fairly new. Well, if we're looking at the existing, you know what it probably is? It's probably coming out of the existing house.
But it's over
Not
there?
showing that, though.
All right, well, you don't know, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't do the work for the bagel hound in there, or the septic for either building, the original
Well, it
stuff.
doesn't show any septic on that toward the street there for the.
No, it
bagel
doesn't
hound
look
either.
like anything
Strange.
should be there. So just, yeah, I'll take a look
Yeah,
and
there's
see
something
what it
there.
is.
There's something
There's
there.
something there.
Okay. The house itself is not being used, of course, and it seems like what you're talking about is
Right.
upstream of the building, so I don't know.
There are some small critters in the house using it, though, I believe. But
Could be.
anyway, okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll take a look and see what it is. We didn't do an extensive survey there. We did just for the new house, but there's a different company doing the condo plans, a different company did the septic plans for the existing stuff.
Okay, that was all I had. Anything further? Anybody in the room care to comment? Looks like we don't have anybody online any longer. So I think we could have a motion.
I'll move that we approve the notice of intent for 297 Route 28, map 12, parcel S6.
I'll second that.
Further discussion? All those in favor? Aye, 4-0.
Great,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You have me want to take a ride out there right now to see what's going on with that pipe.
Poor Joe's a full owner.
Sort of obvious
Daylight.
sticking out of the
Still
ground.
daylight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Okay. Next, we have a notice of intent for 31 Mill Road and 6 Brora Drive, map 15, parcels U3 and U2-2, SE 32-2603 for the reconstruction of an existing joint-use dock and maintenance dredging. This has been continued from our August 20th, 2025 meeting, and the applicant has requested a continuance to October 1, 2025, so that they can go back to waterways. Any discussion about this? Anybody?
I'll move to continue to October 1st.
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay.
Do you want to take the next two together since they're the same property for certs of compliance?
Sure. So we have certificates of compliance for 151 Gorham Road, map 24, parcel R1-1. The first one is for SE 32-2274 for the restoration and mitigation of unauthorized cutting of vegetation within land subject to coastal storm flowage and the buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. And the second one is for SE 32-2276 for the construction of an addition to a dwelling within 100 feet of a cranberry bog, which is no longer a cranberry bog.
No longer cranberry bog, yeah. So, Mr. McDermott is present, but if you like, I can speak to it, and if you have anything you'd like to add. So I've worked with Mr. McDermott over several years, to get the area restored behind the property, area that was a lot of invasives and had a massive tree that came down. And from what I understand, a lot of this stemmed from a misunderstanding between the owner and the landscaper of just how much was gonna be done to clean that area out. But Mr. McDermott complied, had Blue Flax Design do a plan, has complied with the plan, and at this point has enough of the vegetation has survived and really kind of naturalized, that I can recommend a sort of compliance for both of them, really. And the second one is when Mr. McDermott got a permission to do an addition to the dwelling. The addition was done according to plan, and the mitigation has survived. So I would recommend that you issue certs of compliance for both projects, and that will take those off his deed.
Okay. Any discussion from commissioners? Any additional discussion from anybody in the room, Mr. McDermott or Mr. Locke?
You have anything? Okay.
Okay,
Been a long, tough process, but a very fair one.
of course.
Right, that sounds about right.
And the site is absolutely beautiful now with the eco-restoration of the bog. I've lived there for 37 years or so, and the transformation is just unbelievable.
It is amazing, I agree. Great.
So this would be for, you could do the two SE numbers in your motion if you wanted to vote for both simultaneously.
I'll move that we approve the certificate of compliance for 151 Gorham Road, map 24, parcel R1-1, SE 32-2274 and SE 32-2276.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's two here. Okay.
Okay.
Mr. McDermott, do you want us to call you when they're ready? You can pick them up?
Perfect.
And then they'll just need to go to the registry of deeds. Okay. Probably be beginning of next week, okay?
Yep, okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Neighbor, I don't know the answer.
Okay. Oh, now you do.
Now I do, I can't believe it, I don't know the answer.
He's a very nice man.
So now we have minutes. Minutes for the August 20th, 2025 regular meeting.
They look fabulous, except for my first name is misspelled.
Oh,
Other than that,
um,
looks good. And that-
oh, there's an E there, huh?
Yeah,
Yes.
instead of an A.
Yeah.
Everything else looks fabulous.
I don't know if it's helpful, but isn't Dan Ojala's name OJA?
It is. To be honest, I haven't had a minute to look at him.
I don't know.
He is Norman's Way? No,
Narrowlands.
Narrowlands. OJA.
Okay, and how about, want to just do both of them? The work session? Any comments on the work session?
Yes. Can we just scratch the second sentence at the bottom about what I said? I don't even know where I was going with that comment, but it's not that, and
Where,
That's fine, that's your comment, so we can scratch it.
very much.
where is
About
this?
only planting natives, is that the one?
The second sentence.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I left that meeting being like, why did I say that? That's not what I was trying to say. It doesn't matter.
No worries.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Anything else?
Sorry, I missed it. Looks sad.
It,
The rest,
um,
like a good meeting.
It's online.
It's online,
Yep.
okay.
I have a question. Says here the DPW donated the greenhouse.
No, it's not that. Where is that? On August 20th meeting?
Which one did I just look at?
Please, yeah, this one, do one.
That's probably for 70 Lothrop.
Yeah. That didn't seem right.
No, that's not. Wait, I'm looking for it though. What's AC?
No. Where is that?
Where is it?
No, I just read it, now I can't
Yeah,
find it.
I saw it, I didn't catch it, though, I thought it was great.
Cottage
Was
demolition.
there a comment somehow about that in the working session?
No, I don't think so.
There it is, on the last page. Ms. Huzaski stated DPW has donated a greenhouse for the People's Garden. It's on any other business which may come before.
Oh, no, it's the, should we say Harwich Conservation Trust or the owners of 70 Lothrop Avenue? The HCT. We are still vetting that through our insurance,
Oh,
but we're
wow.
hoping soon.
Sure.
It's unbelievable, the amount of work to accept a small, very small, 6x8 greenhouse.
How much trouble could you get into?
Well, Sophia, are you gonna let the public go into it?
Right.
What condition is it in?
High stakes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine, we're going to accept it.
So further comments on either one of these minutes? I'll move we approve the minutes for our August 20th, 2025 regular meeting and for our August 22, 2025 work session
I will second that,
as amended.
Mm-hmm.
as amended.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now,
I have an announcement.
okay,
In addition to a greenhouse, Whole Foods is donating us about $1,000 worth of dirt for next year. So, Whole Foods, they have a surplus of soil, bagged soil, and I guess they were gonna toss it, and a very nice employee said, "Don't toss it, I know who could use it."
wow.
So, that was pretty cool, so we'll be accepting that as well. There's not as much liability with dirt.
Yeah. So I want to mention one other thing. And I sent you an email about this like an
Yes.
hour or two ago.
Yep, I saw it.
The Cape Cod Technology Council, which I participate in sporadically, has a monthly event which they call First Fridays, where they have a speaker come in early in the morning, like Friday morning, the first Friday of the month, starting at 7:30. And this month, on Friday, the speaker is now I'm gonna mess this up, but I think it's the coastal zone,
Processing specialist.
coastal processes specialist for the county.
Yep.
who
Brian
is-
McCormick, yep.
Brian McCormick, who is speaking on what happens to sand and
Yeah.
erosion on the coast, which, I don't regularly go to those things, but I'm going
Mhm.
this time, and you can just go to the website for the Cape Cod Technology Council, and I think for non-members, it's $25. You get a full breakfast there and get to schmooze with whoever for half an hour before the talk starts. So anyone who's interested could look into that.
Brian is an incredible resource. He's helped me a lot the past couple months, especially on a few projects, so.
So go to the website, you said, Joe?
Yes.
Their website.
I can just forward it to you folks tomorrow morning,
Oh, yeah, well,
the email.
Okay.
yeah. I can't go, but it's okay.
Probably shouldn't, but I'm gonna try sneak out.
yeah.
That would be a fun event.
It is
for
good.
My nieces, yeah. They could-
7:30, it starts at 7:30 a.m.
Or you can, if you're not interested in the breakfast,
just
if you
swing
show
in
up by
afterwards.
8, you can hear the speaker.
True.
Okay, so do we have anything else to discuss before we go into executive session?
So we'll need a motion to adjourn regular session, not to return, and to enter into executive session, and you read this.
I'll move to adjourn
Yeah.
the regular meeting, not to return, and to move forward to executive session.
And we need to read the description.
It's, sure. We kept it pretty vague.
For the discussion, well, let's get a second, and then
Yeah.
I will add
You'll
that. and
amend
just-
that, yeah.
I will second.
Vivian seconded. I'm going to, whatever, comment, discussion. This is for discussion and possible vote to support an application for Community Preservation Act funds by the Harwich Conservation Trust to require a parcel of land and for the commission to hold a conservation restriction on that land.
Mhm.
Further discussion?
You gotta
So
roll.
now we
You
need
do your
to
roll call.
roll call, starting with Vivian.
What do I say, my name?
Say your
Your
name and
name
then say
and-
aye.
Vivian Mulhall McGuire? Aye.
John Ketchum, aye.
Mark Coleman, aye.
Sophia Pilling, aye.
And then we wait for a second for Matt to let us know that we're off.